So we have a, yeah. Now we are going to discuss a small topic called like a wow. Okay. The wow is nothing but like, let me, what is that? Windows on Windows. Wow concept. Okay. So sometimes the people ask, what is the wow? Wow means like a Windows on Windows. And uh, what is the uh, wow exactly is going to work? So before that, we need to understand the 2-bit system and 64-bit system. Okay. So we need to understand the 32-bit system and 64-bit system. So in the previous softwares and a resource and what are the is coming, those are kind of like a 32-bit system. It's a kind of like a uh, double or single road way. So each and every time 32 bits of data it will take, and it will process, and it will provide the data. But the 64-bit system, it will take the double system. I think, let me go for, I don't want to give false data. Yeah. So 32-bit system handles 32 bits of data at a time. So 64-bit means the CPU can handle 64 bits of data at a time. So that means the 64-bit system is a very faster. Why? Because the whenever you data entering, so in the background the data will become like a zeros and one, right? So and each and every time whenever the data is coming, it has to read the data, right? So whenever the background transaction happening, so not only for SQL server, any operate any system or any app software, okay, that software having 32-bit system is like it is not able to capable to read the more data at a time. It is able to read the data from 32 bits. If they having more CPUs also, each and every time it can able to read, and it can able to write 32 bits and process the data. But if you're having 64 bit, the data can be read as 64 bits and the process, and uh, what I meant to say, uh, the data will be retrievable fast. And the thing is like the 32-bit system, the limited is 4 GB. What are the softwares? Suppose the SQL server having 32-bit system software. So if you go for generally, like if you go for any download system, generally we can see like a x86, x64, and one more thing, right? x86 we can call like a 32-bit system. Okay. x64 means like a 64-bit system, and we have, I didn't remember one more software uh, thing, but generally, if you go for download, we can see x86 and 64. x86, x86 we can call like a 32-bit system, and x64 64-bit system. So now all the operating system and all the software they're releasing 64-bit system, but in the previous operating system are 32-bit. So 32-bit systems are like a computers or software that can able to handle the only 4 GB RAM. If you have more than RAM also, that's very difficult to take the RAM to utilize the software. Suppose my computer having more than 4 GB RAM. Okay, but I install the 32-bit software SQL server. What will happen? The SQL server will go and utilize only 4 GB RAM initially. So if we want to utilize more than 4 GB RAM, for that we need to go and change some boot file and separate a file. Then only it go and utilize the remaining GB. Otherwise, it will go only 4 GB by default. 64-bit, it will take what are the memory we have, that much of memory it will take. The thing is like that is the concept called like a 60, 32-bit and 64-bit. And now what is the call of a wow? Like, yeah. 32-bit system is called like a 32 lines, and 64-bit is called like a 64 lines. That means each and every time 32 bytes it will take, bits it will take, 64 bits it will take 64 bits, and it has some memory and CPU utilization as well. But now the what exact concept of the wow. So exact concept of the wow means like my system having a 2-bit system. Okay. Here I cannot install, I cannot install 64 software. So 32-bit system, we cannot install the 64 system software. What does that mean? My computer has, suppose this virtual computer having 64-bit system. If I want to install any 64-bit software, it won't support. So the hardware, like it will fail because my computer or virtual computer won't support to install the 64-bit software. Suppose my 64-bit system SQLDatabase, it will allow to install 32-bit software and as well as it will allow 64-bit software as well. So this we can call like on Windows, Windows on Windows, like shortcut wow. So wow is nothing but a 64-bit system can allow the 32-bit system, and we can also install the 64-bit system. This concept we can call like a wow. So if anyone asking what is the purpose of 32-bit system, what are the limitations? The limitations is like the memory side, and as well as it cannot process at a time more than 32-bit. 64-bit, we have a good feature for memory, and it will have at a time 64-bit to process. This is called like a wow. So nowadays the people are not asking for the interview question, but initially like 6 years, 8 years back, the people used to ask this concept. Why? Because that time we don't have that much of this much of high availability, those things. The people will concentrate on the hardware side to install the SQL server. So now we have a lot of automation and new feature schemes. The people are not asking this concept, but we have to understand because this is the one software prerequisite. Sometimes what will happen in Windows N14, that guy did not check the hardware system configurations if they install the 2-bit system. We also did not check the our Windows configurations as 32-bit or 64-bit. At the we have taken the install the software. We are trying to install the software 64-bit. That will fail. Why? Because the operating system is not allowing our software. So that is the reason. If you want to install the any software, first of the things we need to check our software is able to like compatible or not. So that is the reason we need to check this area as well. Okay, this concept you can call like a wow. So let me stop the recording, and tomorrow we can connect and we can discuss for the 2019 SQL Server installation, and what are the pre-checks to before installing, and what are the post-checks we are going to install for 2019. Okay, we can see you on tomorrow morning. Okay, thank you guys.